Hello, and welcome to another edition of Living Simply and Fun, and we will be reviewing the 601 La Bamba Napalm. And this is the 601 La Bamba Napalm. And as you see, it's got this characteristic wick. However, as I tried to move my wick even the slightest bit on mine, it just popped off. Because it's... Oh, this one actually stays. But yeah.
Maybe it's one of those ones that explode when you light it.
Yeah. Trick cigar. Anyways, I'll go ahead and cut Rita's up here. I just want to try to save one with a wick. Because some people might be curious about that. It looks like it's a rather big wick. It's actually very tiny. Here you go. So... Again, the 601 La Bamba Napalm. The Napalm is the name of the Vitola. And some cigars, they name the Vitola. This is actually a Robusto called the Napalm, and it's a 5x50.
I heard they got one that's like 6x70 or 7x70.
Oh yeah, there's quite a few. I noticed that the steel rod had the girder and the steel rod and the steel beam and the whatever. Anyways, this is a Nicaraguan Habano wrapper with extra long fermented Nicaraguan Ligero long filler and a Nicaraguan binder.
Hold on. So this is a Nicaraguan Puros.
It is.
And it's a Ligero bomb.
It is a Nicaraguan Puros with very much Ligero. In fact, some places have described it as extreme full body, which is quite surprising given that the fact that they...
not the icky yucky double Dutch yuck.
I wasn't even going to bring that up.
The
steel rod, I believe, I think it's a steel rod, is classified as their strongest full-bodied cigar by their own website or whatever. Anyways, oh no, it's the Green Oscuro, I think. I don't remember. Anyways, this is called Extreme Full Flavor. It was blended by a combination of Eddie Ortega, Eric Espinoza with EO Cigars, which is Espinoza Ortega, and it was originally blended in Don Pepin Garcia's plants, factories, where he actually helped develop it too. It has since moved on to the La Zona factory, which is Eric Espinoza's current work, and apparently Eddie Ortega doesn't have anything to do with it anymore either, just like Don Pepin Garcia doesn't.
What was the reason? I mean, I'm curious.
I think they just moved on to their own things, and they ended up with enough money from selling 601 cigars that they were able to move out of Don Pepin's basement, basically. So
I do want to say, it is interesting learning about all these cigar blenders who break away and go and do their own company. It just amazes me, you know.
And now his son's doing it. So, you have that now, too. Anyways, we are going to smoke the 601 La Bamba Napalm. Very cheesy, isn't it? Like a good stanky, rotten foot in a way.
I'm picking up hay.
Very strong. And I'm just picking up salty cheese. Yeah, some earthy hay notes, but...
I'm not picking up the cheese.
Really? Care to smell mine? Maybe mine's different than yours. I'm smelling perfume on yours, so...
I wasn't wearing perfume tonight.
I don't know. It smells like perfume.
It's not perfume. I haven't worn any.
Oh, you
washed my hands.
You used lotion recently. Skin lotion.
Well, excuse me. Do I want my hands to rot off and crack after doing dishes?
Sorry, lady. It's just you being a lady, that's all. Anyways, I'm going to take this wrapper off. It was on rather tight, but it slid off. You can peel yours off or whatever. So it peels off nicely too. I'm going to go ahead and fire this up. Now I hope it's as good as the 601 Blue, which was very good. This is not an Oscuro. The blue wasn't either. It's the green and the steel that are. So,
Which Johnny
and I just purged this lighter. There we go. You would think after purging a lighter it wouldn't have that problem because you get rid of all the air trapped inside. Maybe I messed up when I did it too. It's not like I've ever done it before.
We were talking earlier today, Aaron and I were talking a short chat about stockpiling good cigars that you like, affordable, cheaper cigars like the Placera, for example. Make sure you get a Robusto, so if you don't have time to smoke a bigger one,
Yeah, exactly. Always make sure you have different sizes. I actually prefer Toros and 6x60 Gordos, but sometimes I want one of those smaller, shorter smokes. And sometimes when I have those smaller, shorter smokes, I'm really desperately wishing I had a longer one for now and then.
Did I get all of it?
It looks like I might have missed on that side just a little bit. Kind of a tree bark flavor is the primary thing I'm getting here. Tree bark and espresso, perhaps. Looks like you're okay. Looks like you're okay. Maybe. Shout out to everybody at the Cigar Cartel, by the way.
Yes, shout out. Yes, Aaron was talking about sizes the other day. Aaron was talking about sizes today because we're taking a train somewhere soon, and I'm not giving the location yet, but apparently he said we might only have enough time for a Robusto, but I don't have any Robustos and I have Toros.
Yeah. Kind of getting a crushed red pepper flavor off this. It's kind of tingly on the lips. A little burn in the back of the throat.
I'm saying this is definitely habanero flavor, ghost pepper.
Yeah, this has definitely got that Ligero kicking.
This is probably going to be better than the Royal Double Yucky, which is just purely nasty.
I would put it essentially as a choice between blanched vegetables for the Royal Yucky and this being a good Cajun gumbo. I'm sorry, this is chock full of spice and flavor and tastes good. The Royal Garbage, I shouldn't be so harsh on it. But it
is Royal Garbage.
It didn't have the flavors. It just... I know that I even ran into somebody who said they like it. So there are people who like that. I don't know. Somebody over on Ultimate Cigar Experience or something. No, not... Something like that.
You sure the King of Denmark didn't... the Dutch...
Oh, no. It was somebody on Felix Hasselline Cigar family that liked it. And
now, let me just say, this tastes, and I'm just going to say it from my experience, this tastes like smoking a Nub Cane F, pure Ligero. The Nub Cane was a Ligero bomb. And this you can taste, you know, just like the cane.
Except for the difference. In the cane, I didn't pick up any different pepper spices. It was kind of a flat, standard, straight pepper straight through, with very little transitions and flavors. So far, I've kind of picked up a jalapeno habanero type flavor in this, while at the same time kind of picking up an anahime flavor, and possibly just a little bit of roasted red bell pepper. So The difference is there different characteristics to the pepper flavors you're tasting, or is it all very standard?
The question,
I would not recommend drinking this with a carbonated beverage just for the sake that the carbonation will burn more with the burn that's in the mouth from this.
let me just say, so far from what I've been picking up, and as a cigar reviewer, my opinion goes like this. I think that this would not be a good beginner stick for anyone. Maybe an intermediate or an advanced smoker.
Well, I'll argue that one too. This would actually be a prime starting stick for someone like myself or my friend Jason. You
would never smoke one of these either.
We love pepper. I would go into Chinese restaurants and tell them it's okay to make it hurt. I like pepper that much, and heck, half the time they make me sweat, but that's about the worst it ever got. I did make a mapo tofu once for my friend and me, my friend Josh, that was so hot that it was numbing on the roof of the mouth and palate, and you couldn't feel your mouth anymore after about 8 bites. That was just insanity. But for someone who loves pepper and spice, this might actually be a very good starter cigar. But you gotta love the pepper, and you gotta love the spice. If you don't, you better pass on this, even if you're experienced. Just not necessarily in full body, because this has full strength in it. It's got full body so far. That's full. I just filled it recently. Well, then it's got a leak from somewhere. I'm loving the smoke output from this. I'll say it just made me a little dizzy. But this is very strong body and nicotine. Very strong spicy notes. Kind of got a greenish pepper taste right now going to it. Like green bell pepper.
I'm picking up little hints of chopped green onions.
Ooh, yeah, that might actually be just about right with the green bell pepper. But there's still more spice, so these are kind of lingering background notes. So when I mention them, it's not guaranteed anybody else is going to really notice those, but I kind of notice them just in the back of the mouth. And if you really look for them, perhaps you'll notice them too.
I would like to say that one of these guys that attacked us on our channel basically said we are lying about tastes. Thing is each cigar is different and complex. So if one person picks up 8 tastes and another picks up 12, then that's what they're tasting. They're not.
And by the way, just out of curiosity, I watched a couple videos from cigar reviewers last night. Now, one of the leading cigar reviewers out there, and I'm going to keep their names nameless, who oftentimes has tiki torches, though, in the background, happens to basically say in one of his videos that he picked up almost 14 different flavors. And he's one of the most popular out there. Another, who I happen to know and have much respect for, he has a review out there. I don't know how to describe him, so I'm not even going to bother.
Is that the guy with the little...
no, our other buddy.
The Buddha.
Our other buddy, the bald guy.
Yes, the guy with the giant smoking statue behind him.
Yes. Well, he had one where he picked up like 11 or 12 flavors, and I only watched like 2 of his. Then I watched this other guy who is known for doing really, really quick reviews, and in his quick review of one of the cigars that I was watching, he brought up like 16 different flavors. So you want to say I'm lying because I happen to pick up 7 or 8 different flavors, when there's other reviewers who are much better known out there than us, including a female cigar reviewer who did this review of a cigar I really, really want to try. She picked up like 15 flavors in it herself. I'm sorry, but I'm not the only one who picks up a lot of flavors. So You want to say that I'm lying because I pick up more than 2 flavors in a cigar? Fine, go for it. You know, I used to think that way too when I first got into cigars because I'm like, all I'm noticing is tobacco notes. And the tobacco notes are, well, they taste like tobacco to me. What are people saying when they say raisin? I don't taste raisin. What's this earthy? And then I had a Warlord. Oh man, I learned real quick about earthy notes when I had that. That's from Gurkha.
Warlord wasn't a bad stick.
Oh no. Then
I want to try the one that comes into that little chest, you know, the Gurkha Holy Grail.
Then I have a friend who got me into trying to learn about the tobaccos before doing these reviews. And as I'm doing that, we were doing the Cane Daytona, or not the Daytona, it was the Cane Nub F or whatever. That's what it was. And that was one of the first Ligero cigars I had. So I started looking into Ligero cigars. Started to learn that Ligero has a particular spice note to it. As I smoked more and more cigars and recognized this term Ligero popping up more and more, I'm sitting there saying, my goodness, that's a pepper. So if it's got Ligero in it, I should be expecting pepper. And then when I taste pepper, even if Ligero's not there, I start to recognize it being there.
This got the first third is Vijo, the second and third is Seco and Ligero, and then the Ligero kicks in with the Vijo and Seco for the final third. And then I'm just trying to enjoy my cigar, man.
And then I find out Viso tends to be a very thick bottom leaf that tends to be only good as a long filler, but only to make the cigar more mild. So if you want to use a lot of Ligero, but you want a mild cigar, you'd have to add a lot of Viso to try to take away from that. I started to learn how the blending process works. And so I'm learning more and more, like every single day, about cigars. So, you know, at one point, I used to say the same thing. There are no flavors. When somebody says, oh, I taste toasty notes, I didn't notice them. But as I started watching reviews of cigars that I've smoked, and it's like, I'm smoking a cigar right now, I started to realize this is what they call as toasty. So
it's like I've said many times over, every palate is different. What one person might get, another person might not get. So
anyways, we are 17 minutes in, and I think we better just move on to the middle half and keep you from having to watch us for an hour, even though we are entertaining, aren't we?
Stay tuned.
See you in a second. Hello and welcome back to the halfway point of the 601 La Bamba Napalm. Thought we should change our music at the beginning of this to La Bamba, but probably won't do that because we don't have it on this computer. Now I'm going to say, I picked up a very unique flavor in here in the first half. I've only got it on like 2 or 3 puffs, but it's odd. It tastes just like a squished, old, dried up McDonald's French fry, but in a good way.
You're still picking it up.
I'm only getting it on every couple puffs or whatever, and very light now. But the spice is very much cut back. It is not nearly as spicy as it was at the very beginning of this. And Rita's had some issues with hers. It's just been kind of crazy for her. But not as bad as the Cariños that she had last
me
night.
and Aaron were talking, and we looked over our itinerary, so we'll have some time to have a cigar while waiting for the next train.
There's still some red bell pepper notes, but there's a bit of a baker's chocolate sweetness to this, and maybe just a tinge of honey too. And there's kind of a leather that comes out on the after draw as you're puffing out. Decent long finish too. I'm enjoying it. Just wish it was longer. You, on the other hand, were talking about tossing yours just because you're having a few difficulties with it tonight. And it hasn't really been all that bad for you. You've gotten like 2 hangnails. I wouldn't complain about that. And by the way, I said don't pair it with a carbonated beverage. It's not actually all that bad with a diet soda, surprisingly. I thought that would bring out some of the spice and make them burn in the mouth. Instead, it accompanies very well. So I take it back. Go ahead and drink a carbonated beverage with this.
I want Pepsi Crystal.
I agree.
So, my opinion, it's got buckets of smoke. For me, I'm just going to say it tastes like light cedar, light pepper. The Lajero is dying down a bit in it, still in the back of the tongue. Does taste like French fry. I'm getting a lot of it, but then again, I'm not at the last third because of the problems.
Bam! There's the French fry in that puff right there. So, interesting flavor. It really tastes like a McDonald's French fry.
I'm picking up light cocoa too, but other than that, I'm not picking up anything. It's not really in my opinion, a complex bomb yet.
It's not horribly spicy either. It's not as full-bodied now as it was to begin with. Makes me wonder if the people who said that it was extreme full-bodied smoked it beyond more than an inch before giving it a review and tossing it out. Because if they'd gone a little farther, they would have gotten this more potato-ish taste. Some of that salt that mixes in there very well. Some of the sweetness. And the body kind of dissipates. So now it's more medium-bodied, in my opinion. I've yet to have a cigar that's really just full throughout, other than maybe the KFC Mulat and the Obsidian.
I do want to say something about cigar smoking for a minute. Now, I started smoking 10 years ago, and almost 11, and I just want to say that tonight is a good night for this. However, I'm not looking forward to next week. You see, children get out of school, and you don't see many high schoolers that graduate lighting up smoking one of these as soon as they get out.
Nope. Some of their parents will, that's for sure. But you just don't usually see a teenager of any age smoking a pipe or a cigar. I was probably one of the few exceptions. In fact, I was kind of made fun of when I smoked a pipe in high school. My friends would be smoking cigarettes. I'd light up a pipe, and they'd look at me like,
Never heard this story before.
yeah, every once in a while I had a pipe. I also like my clove cigarettes, and every once in a while I'd have a cigar. But, you know, I wasn't really into cigars and stuff. I was more into my cigarettes.
I just wanted to ask, quietly, of course, was it your pipe or your grandpa's pipe?
It was a corn cob I got cheap at, like, Rite Aid.
And I sold it to you.
It was just a pipe. I didn't buy tobacco. There's nothing on the pipe that says you have to be 18 to buy a pipe. You have to be 18 to buy the tobacco. And I had my dad buy the tobacco because my dad didn't care if I smoked. So.
My mom's boyfriend was the same way with his daughter, his son.
He knew I was going to do it anyway, so he might as well make sure that he I get him through him instead of somebody who's going to rip me off by charging me $20 more for a carton or something.
That's what Mom's boyfriend Dave did. He thought it'd be better that way. But that was over 20 years ago when little Mikey and little Dave were smoking.
Well, at that time, smoking was a lot more accepted. It wasn't in the schools, but heck, it was only like 5 years before I went to high school, before they banned it in high school. You could actually smoke at your desk in high school.
Let me just say, nowadays, the FDA is trying to destroy everyone smoking because of these children, supposedly.
In fact, when I was in high school, there was a reform school not far away where you could still smoke at your desk. I had friends that went there, and they could sit there and they could light up while in the middle of class and have a cigarette. They just had to take an ashtray with them so that they wouldn't be ashing and stepping on it on the floor. But when I was like 5, 6 years old, the grocery store allowed smoking in it, and I remember cigarette butts in the aisles where the groceries were because people would throw them on the ground and step on them. It just was a fact of life. People smoked in the grocery store when I was a kid.
Yeah, in doctor's offices.
Oh, I remember that. Heck, I remember my granddad smoking in the doctor's appointment with me when he went in.
cigar or a cigarette? Because I think he's more with that. Yeah.
So, here we've gone another 7 minutes. We should get into the final bit, but
your granddad didn't seem to have any good taste after the Cuban embargo.
No. I will say one other thing. One reason I chose the 601 La Bamba for tonight is I want to make sure to get this review out there before 4th of July comes up. Because, heck, this is a good 4th of July cigar. And if you want another idea for a 4th of July, look at our review on the Isabella Firecracker. That's another good geared up name for a cigar for the 4th of July. And a very good cigar at that, too. So, anyways, we will see you in the final half. Or final third. Sorry. 1 second. Hello and welcome back to the final third of this La Bamba 601 Napalm or 601 La Bamba Napalm. Haven't noticed much difference in the change in flavors. It's kind of remained very steady. The French fry taste has kind of vanished, but it's still kind of got a potatoey flavor to it. Some toastiness, a little bit of spice. But the final third's not as good as the halfway section, and it's not as good as the beginning was. And I've kind of gotten some hangnails myself here, so it seems the cigar wants to do that, and it could be that it hasn't been dry boxed enough. It's only been dry boxed 2 days, so it could be overly moist. But I'd say go ahead and give it a try because it is a unique cigar, and the fact that it's got that long thing and the fuse, and which is a classified as a pigtail, but I say it's more like a fuse, and it makes for probably a rather unique 4th of July smoke too. So.
I think that the final third, it's picked up more spice and more Ligero. I'm picking up just a pure stout of Ligero. I mean, the first third was like ½ inch or so was Ligero. Now it's back to Ligero. I'm picking up pure Ligero, maybe a little cedar.
I'll say another thing I noticed too is that during the first third, it wanted to burn slow. The halfway point, it was still burning fairly slow, but here in the end, it wants to pick up in speed. Basically, after passing halfway, it just started burning faster. So, again, that's something I'm not exactly keen on. It's $7.40 a cigar. I don't know if I'd buy this again, but it's got enough flavor in it that...
Did you actually buy this, or did you get it as a sampler?
Oh, I bought a sampler of 5 different La Bambas. We hadn't reviewed any of them, and I've been wanting to touch their brand for quite a while, and it was time. So that's what I did. $40, 10 cigars, gave for 5 reviews. And we still got the blue, the green, and the red labels to go.
I would like to ask a question.
Or, sorry, we have the green, red, and steel to go.
I would like to ask a question for you subscribers out there, anyone who comes across this video and watches it this far. Do you guys think that a reviewer like us should stick with reviewing just one of these cigars, for example, and say Robusto, or try reviewing them all in different vitolas to see which better flavor profile?
We had a question for that because we managed to get the Kismet Wingman sample. No, I did. And I was going to give her one of the sizes, and earlier today I actually tried the smallest size because I was thinking about reviewing the Torpedo while she reviews the Toro or the Gordo. I haven't decided what she'll review yet. But, you know, it kind of brought us to a thought. Should we try all the different vitolas before we do a review? Now, that gets rather expensive, and it's not something that we're likely to do. But, just curious of your thoughts. Should somebody try them all to figure out which vitola is the better? Or should you just stick to whatever you got? Good question.
Yes, good question indeed, because I've been thinking about buying, say, Placeres and buying all the vitolas.
And Johnny Sticks proved something to me. He sent me San Cristobal Papagayo and a San Cristobal Lancero. and I smoked the two pretty much back to back, and they're almost totally different cigars that way. I thought the Lancero was far better, yet I still love the Papagayo. So, thing is, their flavor profiles were almost totally different from each other. And that's not something we could tell you when we're only reviewing, say, like this, the napalm size. I know there's one called the Warhead, and the Warhead has a different wrapper on it. So, I know that someday we should probably try the La Bamba 601 Warhead. Or 601 La Bamba Warhead. So anyways, with that said, I would definitely say go ahead and give this a try if you want to.
If you want to part with the $7.40 for the stick, go for it. In my opinion, it's a good stick. I just think that I am not having operator error for this stick. As Aaron said, it's starting to get wonky with him.
Yeah, so I'm kind of thinking that this needed a dry box for a while. Maybe 2 or 3 more days. Make it a 4 or 5 day dry box. I think it would have been fine. So, just a hunch. Anyways, with that said, please add and subscribe. Leave questions, comments, feedback, and suggestions. If you smoked this and you agree or disagree, let us know and what your thoughts were. And just try to keep it nice is all we ask. And enjoy every puff.